The Boeing 747, a giant of the skies, a machine designed to conquer the heavens. It has carried millions of passengers, transported cargo across continents, and reigned as the queen of the skies for decades. But even legends can fall. And on this day, one of these mighty aircraft would meet its tragic end at one of the most dangerous airports in the world. This was not just any airport. It was a place known for its treacherous terrain, unpredictable winds, and limited margin for error. Pilots who landed here needed precision, skill, and nerves of steel. One mistake could be the difference between life and death. And today, 2 deadly flights would prove just how unforgiving this airport could be. The first flight began like any other. A fully loaded Boeing 747, making its final approach. The crew was highly experienced, well-trained for the challenges that lay ahead. The passengers, unaware of the looming danger, gazed out of their windows, marveling at the breathtaking landscape below. But what they didn't know was that the winds were shifting. The mountains surrounding the airport created dangerous air currents, sudden gusts that could destabilize even the most powerful aircraft. The pilots, battling the elements, adjusted their approach, trying to keep the jet steady. Then, in a matter of seconds, everything went wrong. A powerful downdraft struck the aircraft, forcing it lower than intended. The ground rushed toward them. The pilots fought back, trying to regain altitude, but it was too late. The massive jet clipped the edge of the runway, its wheels barely making contact before it skidded violently across the tarmac. The sound of metal grinding against concrete filled the air as the aircraft veered off course, its massive fuselage breaking apart upon impact. The aftermath was devastating. Smoke and fire engulfed the wreckage. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, battling the flames, searching for survivors. For those who had been on board, the world had turned into chaos. Some managed to escape, dazed and injured, while others were trapped inside the burning wreck. News of the crash spread like wildfire. Aviation experts, investigators, and authorities scrambled to understand what had gone wrong. Was it pilot error? An unexpected wind shear? A flaw in the airport's design? The world wanted answers. But before those answers could come, tragedy struck again. Not long after the first crash, another Boeing 747 approached the same airport. The previous accident had already put crews on high alert. But the skies don't wait. Another flight was coming in, and this time, the stakes were just as high. The pilots knew the dangers. They had reviewed every detail, every variable. Yet, as they made their final descent, they too found themselves at the mercy of the elements. The unpredictable winds, the narrow runway, the towering mountains. It was a battlefield against nature itself. The aircraft approached, engines roaring, trying to stay on the perfect glide path. The ground came closer and closer. Then, disaster struck once more. A sudden gust of wind pushed the jet off course, forcing the pilots to make a split-second decision: abort the landing or force the aircraft down. They chose to land. But the decision came at a cost. The wheels touched down hard, bouncing the massive jet into the air. The force of impact sent shockwaves through the fuselage. The pilots tried to regain control, but the aircraft had already lost its stability. The nose dipped forward, skidding off the side of the runway. The sheer force of the landing caused the landing gear to collapse. Sparks flew, metal twisted, and within moments, the aircraft was in ruins. Rescue teams, already stretched thin from the first crash, rushed to respond again. The sight was eerily similar: flames, debris, and the haunting echoes of alarm sirens. 2 crashes, 2 deadly flights, both at the same airport. The world demanded answers. How could this happen twice? Was this airport simply too dangerous for such massive aircraft? Investigators combed through the wreckage, analyzing flight data, interviewing survivors, and reconstructing the final moments of both flights. The findings were chilling. Both aircraft had been affected by the same deadly combination: high-altitude turbulence, unpredictable weather, and an airport that left no room for mistakes. Pilots around the world took notice. Airlines revised their procedures. Aviation authorities debated whether the airport was safe for large jets. For the passengers and crew, it was a day they would never forget. For the families of those who didn't survive, it was a tragedy beyond words. And for the world of aviation, it was a sobering reminder. Even the mightiest aircraft, flown by the most skilled pilots, can fall victim to forces beyond their control. The Boeing 747, a symbol of power and progress, had met its match at the world's most dangerous airport. And the scars of these two deadly flights would remain forever etched in history.